Well, good morning, everybody. Cheryl and I are headed out from the casino, and we're heading to Las Cruces, New Mexico. I found a deal. We're going to do an RV park there. Um, I found a really nice, good price on an RV park. Hacienda RV Resort seems really nice. So we're gonna. It's about a 245-mile trip today, and we'll probably stop for gas near the end of the day. We're about full, a little under full now. We'll stop probably 3/4 of the way. I guess we're going to stop for gas. Um, I recovered from the walking too much yesterday. Um, my leg feels fine. My back hurts a little bit. So, c'est la vie. You know, it is. I'm driving a couple hundred miles a day, about 250 miles a day, and I just had surgery less than 3 weeks ago. So, it's not unexpected. But I'm doing just fine. Taking my meds. I got my leg squeezer on. Um, Dottie's right there behind us, right there beside me. Dottie's on a platform there, and George is underneath the platform, kind of hiding. George is not a big fan of this kind of stuff. Not a big fan. I'm gonna turn the camera around. You've seen enough of me and Dottie. Let's see the road. In front of the casino, there's like two cars that say "Win me," which, if you win it, unless you're going to sell it, what that is, it'll give you a new car and a bill from the IRS. Because trust me, it'll be reported as income, and you'll have to pay taxes on it. I remember when Rick Dees was a big DJ in LA back in the day when I was living in LA and commuted, and they used to give away like a Corvette with $50,000 stuffed in the glove box, and supposedly the $50,000 was enough to they had the value of the Corvette and the cash, and then figured out mathematically how much cash to put in there to cover the taxes for the average person. And I bet you can tell if you're looking straight into the sun, but there's a bunch of airplanes there because this is the Tucson International Airport right here. We were right next to it. And I didn't hear planes at all until, about 5 a.m. I heard them. And they didn't wake me up. I was up. I went to bed really early. And I heard the planes. You could certainly hear them now. They're roaring in and out of there. Look at those old hangars there. I gotta silence that. Those dings are my family messaging app. My family thread. We'll just mute that for the trip because I can see them. It's like it's different. You don't need the sounds when the phone is on your dash. And I'll take you up here until we get on. See how long it takes us to get to the interstate here. And you see a little bit of Tucson. Look at those beautiful mountains. You know, wherever you go out here in the West, there's usually beautiful mountains in the background, either close or far off in the distance. You get the beautiful mountains. And that's one of the things I love about the West. And you wonder, why is Cheryl always leading? The answer to that is because she's good at it. I'm very comfortable following Cheryl. And she goes, to me, she does ideal speeds. And I think it's going to be about 4 miles, but we'll show you a little bit of Tucson here. And I'll point out things as I see them. It may be boring. Look, there's a Safeway. There's a Tractor Supply. I don't really see those two things, but those are examples of pretty mundane, boring things. I pointed out the airport to you. And I'll probably shut her down when we get on the interstate. So it is 8:30. I'd like to arrive. We need to arrive after 1. So this ought to be about right. You know, if we were not stopping, going 60 miles an hour, we would get there right at 12:30. But I'm sure we'll stop at least once. So we'll get there a little after 1. We got 2 pull-through sites right next to each other. I think it's 123 and 124. It was with tax, title, license, everything included, $60 for the night for each space. That's pretty good. There's a Love's travel center there in Las Cruces that have RV spots, and they're a little bit, actually, in all it is electric, and there's like 5 spaces, and I looked at that, and it's like more money. But I guess if you haven't planned ahead and you don't know where to go, and you go into Love's and get gas and go, well, I might as well stay here. And I have done that a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when they were first starting those. I tried one, and back then they were just about $30 a night. They're more like 50 or 60 now. And you would think it'd be really noisy, but it wasn't that noisy. So for anybody that's interested in my gas mileage, I'm getting 10.3 miles per gallon. And I didn't end up dumping my black tank, even though I just had it dumped a week prior. So I started out with probably 2/3 full of fresh water, which is 2/3 of 32 gallons. And empty gray tank, empty black tank. So what about 20 gallons of water on board? So that's just 160 pounds. Now I could probably get better mileage if I put this into eco mode, but you know, everything I've read and absorbed says if you're going to tow, do tow haul mode, not eco mode, because tow haul mode treats, knowing that you're pulling something heavy, it treats the gears differently, and so I would say it's probably worth $1 a gallon or something, but I think there's safety involved there, so I'll take the hit for $1 per gallon. And another couple of miles here. There's a McDonald's. There's I don't know, the Wendy's, Circle K, Hilton, Car Care Center. Carl's Jr. I kind of like Carl's Jr. As far as fast food places, that's near the top for me. What I do like from McDonald's is their Egg McMuffin. It's pretty hard to screw that up. And it's pretty hard to make that totally unhealthy. I mean, you know, there's not much they can do to an egg or an English muffin. Then you got a little slice of cheese. I guess you could just purchase the most unhealthy cheese and cheapest, most unhealthy cheese possible. I don't know whether they do that or not, but I'm pretty comfortable eating the egg McMuffins. Especially, tell you a secret. Usually, if you have the McDonald's app, you can usually get one for $2 using the app. Not every day, but most days I'm successful in getting them for $2, and that's kind of a deal, especially these days with the price of eggs, which is actually kind of an interesting thing I've noted. I paid as much as $10 for a dozen jumbo eggs in Quartzsite. And then just last week when I went to Dollar General to buy a dozen eggs, large eggs, a dozen, was $5.69. So I don't know what's going on with the price of eggs. I wasn't curious enough to Google it. But I sure Ken will. Right, Ken? Ken will get the 411 on the egg situation. Less than a mile, and we will be. There's not much out here. Looks pretty barren and residential. Wait till you see Las Cruces if you've never seen it. It's pretty dramatic, the mountains and everything around Las Cruces. And we see our first sign here for junction of I-10, half a mile. We're going to be turning right. We're going to be going east. We're going to Jacksonville, Florida. Not really, but we could. We could if we wanted to, right? All the way through Texas, New Mexico, Texas, Mississippi, all along the Gulf Coast. And all the way to Jacksonville. And if we went the other way, we could be going all the way to the other ocean. We'd be going to Santa Monica, California. I lived in Santa Monica for a while, thanks to my sis, Margaret. Or I had a sublet, believe it or not, in Beverly Hills that she arranged for me when I moved to LA in like 84, early 84. And the sublet was a rent-controlled apartment in Beverly Hills. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Well, the apartment wasn't amazing. It was adequate, but the location was pretty amazing. Right off South Elm Street, right off Wilshire Boulevard, a couple blocks from Rodeo Drive. It doesn't get much swankier than that. But the sublet was from a model, and she had this big job in Canada she was doing. And she came back early, didn't call her anything. I just woke up one Saturday morning and there's a model at the foot of my bed standing there. And not in a good way. I was out in a day.
And just like that, we're off and running.
Yes, we are. And only now it says 265 miles on my GPS. It was 240. Now it says 265. You know, often when you do these...
I see 263 at this moment.
Well, mine's saying 264, but my trailer's longer than yours, so that might explain the difference.
Negative. I think I'm 1 inch longer than yours. Yes. Uh-oh, Judy would get a kick out of that.
Yeah. By the way, our conversation my radio is being recorded on today's video.
10-4, we'll keep it clean.
All right, we're on our way, and I'll cut it back on when we get to Las Cruces or if I see something interesting. So this next exit would take you to Tombstone, one of my favorite places to go. I know I've told this story before, so you've been with me for a while. You'll roll your eyes and say, I've heard this one before. So I'm fascinated by the gunfight at OK Corral and that whole legend. And two things happened when I was there, when I visited Tombstone a couple of years ago. One was it was the main drag at night is pretty deserted. Nothing's open. The bars and restaurants don't stay late open, and there's like Old West wooden walkways. It's all recreated because there was a huge fire and everything but a couple of the buildings were destroyed. And I went out there with my little tripod and cell phone, and I sat on a bench on that boardwalk in the middle of where everything happened and watched the movie on my cell phone. That was amazing. So the other thing that happened, and this either happened or didn't happen, and you can judge for yourself. If I think of it, I'll put a link to the video. One of the structures that actually is original is the Birdcage Theater, and that's, if you saw the movie, that's where the cowboys were shooting it up, and the Birdcage Theater. So you can go there and take a tour, and the behind the scenes tour is just, you walk through a bunch of rooms over several levels, filled with all kinds of historic artifacts, old stuff. It's pretty fascinating. To my surprise, when I went, like a Tuesday afternoon, I was completely by myself. There wasn't another soul there. So I very slowly made my way through it. And at the bottom level, the last level is where the gift shop is, and you go through the gift shop and you're back out on the street. That's the end. It's the poker room there in the basement, and they have it roped off, so you can't go up to the poker table, but they have it staged with cards and stuff on the table. And I went down and I noticed there was a guy down there, just another person taking the tour, and he's kind of leaning up against the rail looking at the poker table. And I walk right by him to the other end, and I look at something there, and I turn around, and I was done, and I start walking towards the gift shop. He was gone. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I said, well, he must have been done, and walked into the gift shop. And so I walked in the gift shop, and it crossed my mind, how do you get out so fast? He's not here. The gift shop was pretty big, but I put it out of my mind. And then when I went to edit the video, I noticed something peculiar. I looked at the guy, the video of the guy that I wasn't paying attention to. He was wearing a cowboy hat, like kind of a long trench coat, and you could tell he had one of those vintage Western mustaches like you see in the movie. And his face was like pale white. Well, I'm going to remember it, but just look for it yourself. Was this some guy taking the tour, or did I see and record a ghost? I really honestly don't know. So anyway, Tombstone is, if you're in the area, it's worth it. Yes, you could call it a tourist trap, right? Because there's only a couple of buildings that are from the original. Everything else was reconstructed for the tourists, but it is still fascinating. Even on the street, there's a marker where when Curly Bill shot the sheriff, I forget the sheriff's name, there's a marker on the street where that happened. It's pretty amazing. Anyway, we'll see you in a little while. Well, here we are, about to cross into the great state of New Mexico, land of enchantment, the state line. That was Cheryl, and that's where we've only got 141 miles left. You know, I always look at these RVs that pass me like I'm standing still and think, yeah, you're going to get there sooner than me, but I think my way's much safer. I'm doing, um, I'll do 65 when the speed limit is 75. I think that the topography changes I think it changes pretty dramatically. If you look to either side, as soon as you hit the line, it changes. Um, so like I said, we got 140 miles left today. I think we're going to stop somewhere for lunch. That's what I think Cheryl wants to do. She wants to get Clover out to stretch her legs. She asked me, does Dottie need to go? I was like, Dottie's sound asleep. He's been sleeping for at least an hour. Haven't heard beep from George. Someone was asking me in the comments, where's George? And I think I mentioned earlier in this video, Dottie's on a platform, and George is underneath the platform in his little hidey hole. So I think I'm going to leave this running for a little while so you can see what things look like over the top of this rise. If I remember right, there's a pretty good view after we get over the top of this mountain pass here. Deming, which I've spent some time in, is about 79 miles from here. Just north of Deming is City of Rock State Park, where Deborah Dickinson, in past years, has had her annual meetup, and she's not going to be doing that anymore. Those days are gone, and I think it was mostly due to all the state park rates going up so dramatically in New Mexico. Boy, it was really such a deal. I think let's see if I remember this right. I think it's $225 a year for an out of state non-resident annual camping pass, and if you camped with no hookups, it was free up to I think 14 days. And then if you wanted electrical, if you got an electrical spot, it was $11 a night. Really great deal. Now it's substantially more. I wish I could remember how much. You'll have to look it up, but it's way more than that now, both for the annual pass and for the daily rate. Well, we've come over the pass here, and we'll see if I think maybe around this corner up here it starts looking really, really neat. Dust storms may exist next 10 miles. You know, they say on there's several stretches of highway out here in the west where dust storms can be a problem. And there's signs that say if there's no visibility and you pull over, turn your lights off and keep your foot off the brake. And you might wonder, well, why did they say that? Well, if people see tail lights, they'll figure, oh, that's someone in front of me, so I'm going to follow them. And before they realize it, you've got a rear-end collision. See if one of those signs are up here. But look at that vista. That's something, isn't it? Well, I'll turn it back on again when something interesting happens. So it says, in a dust storm, pull off roadway, turn vehicle off, feet off brakes, and stay buckled. So you want, it doesn't say explicitly don't keep your lights off, but it does say turn the vehicle off, keep your foot off the brake, and stay buckled in, and that's in case someone gets in the side of you. I've been across stretches of road like this before several times and haven't experienced a dust storm. So those of you out there that might have experienced one, you might want to tell us in the comments what it's really like. So we stopped and we're in Lordsville, right?
Lordsburg.
Lordsburg.
Yeah.
And
New Mexico.
I just we've gone through all those warning signs about dust storms, and I've been through them many times. We've already been taking care of it.
She already got it. Yeah. No, that's all right.
And I lost my train of thought. The warning signs about dust storms, and I've been through them many times, but never experienced one. But Cheryl has. Yeah. Can you tell us what it's like?
Well, I have been through them, dust storms and sandstorms when I lived in El Paso, Texas, many years ago. And when you're driving, you can't see through them. It's like all of a sudden a black wall. So if you're driving, you basically have to just pull over and wait for it to subside so that you can go on. But it's like a whiteout, similar to a snow whiteout, except it's a dust whiteout.
Well, they warn you. The most interesting thing is they warn you not to have any lights on your car when you pull over.
Yeah, because it's distracting and you're liable to get hit.
Right, because people will think,
you're moving.
I see taillights, so that's where the lane is. Because it's true, you can't even see the lane.
You can't see anything. It's like you're just in a dark cloud.
And they say keep your seatbelt fastened because there's a likelihood, even dark, you could get hit from it.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. And if you live in a place where where you have these dust storms and sandstorms, it's horrible because it all gets in your house. Your house can be closed up as tight as a drum, nothing open, and you will have dust and dirt on top of everything. It just comes right through the cracks. It's crazy. But that's my story on it. I mean, that's what I know.
Well, that's what I was looking for, some real life experience for that I haven't had. And we are in, what's the name of this restaurant?
It was Ramona's
Cafe. And my instinct was this is going to be a good one, just my gut, and I think I'm going to be right, but we'll let you know when we get served. So I know this is a shock, but I got a club sandwich and I've already taken a bite. It's really good. And
oh my God,
chimichanga, and apparently it's horrible because she's making all these strange sounds.
It is absolutely delicious. It's got green pepper in it. It's got a little bit of kick to it. God, it's delicious.
Look at that. It does look great.
It is delicious.
All right, we're back and on the way to Las Cruces, 119 miles to go. Cheryl generously paid for the lunch, and I got the club sandwich, and I got enough for lunch and dinner tonight. And we're going to be staying at Hacienda RV Resort in Las Cruces, which seems like it'll be really nice. And I think the next time you hear from me, or see, the next thing is going to be the vista of Las Cruces, which I think is pretty interesting. So I decided to record here. If you look to the left there, you see a train. And rarely do you get to see the enormous length of these things. And actually, it goes back a lot further than I can see behind us, but it gives you an idea of how much those engines are pulling and the tremendous power that are in a train engine. It's just kind of mind-boggling. But I thought you want to see that. So here we are overlooking Las Cruces, New Mexico. And I wish it wasn't so hazy. And I wish you could see it the way I see it through the windshield. These beautiful jagged mountains as the backdrop to this little city. We're only about 7.5 miles from our destination, the Hacienda RV Resort. Um, and it's we've gone so far 519 miles since leaving Quartzsite on Saturday, and it's Sunday afternoon at about 3 o'clock, and we've gone through a time change because for those of you who don't know, Arizona abstains from daylight savings time. So when the time change happened in the spring, essentially we went from mountain time to Pacific time, and crossing into New Mexico here, we went back to mountain time. So we lost an hour. So back in Quartzsite, it's only 2:17. It's 3:17 here. But I think I'll leave this going a little while, so you can, as we get closer, you can see more of the beautiful mountains in the background. And Cheryl, that micro light right in front of us. We got separated by quite a distance back a ways because there was we went down to one lane and I got caught behind somebody slow, and she had no way of knowing that. I couldn't see ahead, but we managed. I put the pedal to the metal, and I caught up with her. Again, I'm going to mention something I've mentioned many times in the past, but I do this because there are always new people listening. And one thing about as a nomad versus someone that has a house or an apartment or whatever, and you have an RV that you take out for vacations. When you're a full-time RV nomad, what I'm pulling behind my truck right now, that's my home. That is every single physical thing that I own.
Did you see the statue of the Roadrunner?
Say that again?
Did you see that statue of the Roadrunner up on the hill to the right?
I did not. I missed it. I started recording a video to show everybody the Las Cruces Valley here.
Oh, 10-4. It was so pretty.
Well, chances are I got it on video.
Yeah, I hope so.
So if you couldn't hear her, she was saying, did you see the statue of the Roadrunner up on the hill on the right? And we probably, hopefully I caught it. I didn't see it because I'm looking at traffic and recording the video. So anyway, back to what I was saying. My travel day, I get very nervous about, pulling the trailer, because it's so much of what I have, and that it evaporates within like the first half a mile. It's really important, if you have a trailer, to have a powerful enough vehicle, not just to tow it. It isn't enough to have a vehicle that is powerful enough just to tow it, but a vehicle that has enough power so it feels like even when going uphill, it doesn't feel like you have something behind you. Because as I'm driving now, it's indistinguishable from me driving down the highway without a trailer behind me. Also, what helps is having they call it a TPMS, a tire pressure monitoring system. So if there's any reduction in air pressure in any tire on your trailer, it alerts me immediately, as well as a rapid, like if there's a blowout or sudden loss, it'll notify me by alarm. And it's nice to have a trailer with 2 axles. So if I lose a tire to a blowout, it's not going to be as devastating as it is with people that have small trailers with 1 axle. That would, you'd really feel that, and it would probably, I'm guessing it would probably do damage. So also have, I can see my trailer very clearly in my side view mirror, and so I feel confident that everything's going okay. And I keep the speed down. Most of the speeds out here in the West are 75, and I'll be doing about 60 to 62. I'm doing 60 now. I need to speed up a little because Cheryl's getting in front of me. But 62, and I really pay attention to having plenty of space between me and the person in front of me, so I have time to react and stop. Because that's one of the surprises you get. If I was saying, hey, it feels like there's no trailer behind me. The second I have to stop quickly, I will definitely be aware that there's a big trailer behind me, because the inertia will, really throw off the stopping distance versus stopping without a trailer, and that could be disastrous. And I think we're coming into downtown with Las Cruces here, the center of town, and our exit's only about 0.3 miles. It's right up here. We're getting off here, and the RV resort is only less than a mile away from the exit. Well, stay with me as we come in for a landing. Right in front of me, it looks, I thought, well, that looks like an RV park, but it looks like a RV sales lot. It's called Holiday World. But I did see on the map that this resort's not that far away from Interstate 10. See, that's Cheryl being kind and waiting for me. She had a green light. I had to come to a full stop and wait for some traffic to go by. And I put on my signal, and this guy behind me just stopped for me and let me over. I think you passed the turn.
10-4, I believe I did. It's telling me to make a U-turn, dadgummit.
Yeah, we both missed it. Ooh. Are you sure about this? There looks like a lot of sand in there.
I was just looking at that. I'm going to go down a ways.
Yeah, I don't think we should take that risk.
Yeah, I only made that mistake once this year.
What she's talking about is she got her truck caught in a wash in Quartzsite.
I'm going to go in here and then pull out.
So we're just going in another RV park and doing our U-turn. That I don't know if you probably couldn't tell from the video image, but where she was gonna turn is a vacant lot, and as I looked at it, it looked really sandy to me, and we could easily get stuck. And that's not any fun at all. To drive all day right to our destination, and then get stuck and have to be towed out. That would be horrible. You're looking to make a right on Stern Drive, Stern, 0.1 mile.
Yeah, 10-4, I'm looking for it. I think I see it up here.
You've got it. That winery and pizza place was the place I said was a half a mile from the park.
10-4. I totally did not see that street when we went by it.
Showing here 0.3 miles and should be a right-hand turn.
Yes.
Little last-minute adventure, huh? But I can see the RV park up here. Looks busy. Maybe we were lucky to get those. Not only did we get 2 spots, but we got 2 spots right next to each other. That's the exits, and the entrance must be up here.
This place is huge.
All right, I'm going to turn you off here.
Should I just sit tight while you go in?
I think you'll need to fill out paperwork.
10-4.
All right, well, I will pick this up and end it when I get to my site. Okay, we're going to see how good a map reader I am. Because our sites are next to each other, but we're supposed to go in opposite ways. So we have 2 different routes to get to the same place. It's very odd. So you're going to see up here that Cheryl's going to keep going straight after I have to embark on kind of a U-turn almost here. She's in 123, I'm in 124. And I think she's going the wrong way. I'm almost certain you turned the wrong way.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. I hate these parks. I always get lost in them.
So now I go up this way.
I'll go around and try again.
Hold that map upside down and it'll make more sense. So I go here. I skip one. Then I go here, I believe. And I go second to the last. I'm going to be in 124. And I did it. Oh. need to go back up and come up the other road. She almost did it. She's close. All right, as Cheryl backs up and comes in this way. She's got it, though. She's got it. She's backing. She's backing. Now she's coming. Come on. You've got it now.
It's a good thing I know how to back up.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. She knows how to back that thing. So anyway, that is the adventure for today, and there'll be another adventure tomorrow. And you're going to come with me, and I love having you with me. I really do. It's great. And there's Dottie. Say hi, Dottie. And George is underneath Dottie's bed. Very tranquilized. See you later.